So drafting, we all knew it was rigged, but LeBron finally confirms it. Like, honestly, though, LeBron coming out and saying this is when the White House came out and was like, yeah, aliens are real. And people are like, so?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You told me aliens are real. It's like LeBron literally, people scream the NFL is rigged. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Deflategate before that. And then now LeBron's like, hey, the NBA lottery is rigged and it's a stupid system. And we all knew it was, but, stand on business. You took Giannis going 250 and then over the NBA being rigged. Like, that's not the biggest bombshell.
Yeah, I feel like that was way more exciting. That was way cooler news. I'm like, yeah, when he said that, I'm like, yeah, let's go, LeBron. You're starting to sound like one of us.
Yeah.
You don't sound like a billionaire at this point. You sound like one of us.
No, he did. And then
He sounds like a guy at a sports bar.
Yeah, no, like that's kind of what it felt like, and he was kind of loose. He said he walked in with some wine in this one too, I think.
Nice. Well, there we go.
And then the next one was on Pat Riley banning cookies from team flights. He says, and then I looked at them, they looked at me. I'm like, oh, that didn't look familiar. And I asked, he was like, no, these are not allowed to have any more cookies on this flight. So no cookies on the flights, I guess. That's cool.
Well, now I know why he left Miami. No cookies for LeBron. LeBron's like, fuck that. I'm going back to Cleveland. This place sucks. This place mid as fuck.
Tate's Bake Shop. Sorry.
Get me out of here. No crumble cookie for Braun. He's back. He's going back to Cleveland. He did say something about how Miami was essentially his, like, I don't know if he mentions it in the quotes eventually, but talks about Miami as like his college years ultimately.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of an interesting take on his leave to Cleveland. And then he kind of talks about like the decision a little bit with Miami. If he frames it kind of as like his college years, it makes the move make a little bit more sense to me than him. I mean, obviously, I think he should have left Cleveland anyways, but framing it as that kind of college years was interesting to me.
Yeah, because it was the first time he had ever left Ohio. Typically, if you're going to college, you're either doing it because your parents are making you to get out of your state or to chase tail, or you actually have a good idea of what you want to do with your career and aren't going to get in debt for no reason. But for him to go to Miami, it's like it's his first time. He said he was living in Akron. So it's like your first time living in another city is a big experience, but it's like one of those times where you like really have to grow. And in Miami, LeBron had a lot of like growing up to still do, I feel like, and he had a lot of maturing to do. And I feel like that manifested itself in the best version of LeBron we ever saw, which was LeBron in Cleveland. It wasn't LeBron in Miami. LeBron in Miami got cramps. It just wasn't the same LeBron as the Cleveland LeBron who came back from 3-1 down to the Warriors. And if it wasn't for Kevin Durant making the most stacked team in NBA history, we could be looking at LeBron with 7 rings right now.
Yeah, that's very possible. I don't think that if he hadn't gone to Miami, though, if he would have been the great LeBron of the Cleveland era as well. Because he had like the Dallas Mavericks fail that he had, like the trials and tribulations there. He wins his 2 titles, and then the 2014 finals, the team kind of falls apart a little bit. He goes back to Cleveland, but I feel like those 4 years were what ultimately turned him into a champion and made the best LeBron product that we ended up having, which was the 4 years in Cleveland he returned.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, the Miami years, it was interesting how he phrased it. Like, you kind of look back on those fondly because you got enough where if you're a LeBron hater, like, you still have enough to point to, but it was fun enough where you kind of have, like, the drama of it, too. If you're, like, not someone who's a fan of him and you're someone who loves him, like, it's, like, also, like, good material there, too.
Yeah, he made 4 straight finals. He won 2 of them. I think if he won 3 of them, it'd be a lot harder to deny, but he had the blemish on his resume with the Mavericks, which I think he did mention on the podcast. But then he goes 2 for 2, or 2 and 2, I should say, and then goes back to Cleveland to fulfill his prophecy ultimately.
Yeah, and then other one here is his car analogy, and then he says, this one is an interesting one. This is on critics who played basketball, so Kendrick Perkins. Those guys that played the game, it was while they were talented. I don't think they ever thought the game. I don't think they were ever smart.
Yeah, that was aimed at Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah. What do you want me to think about the way the league is covered today, LeBron James? You want to sit back and tell me you don't like the way the league is covered? Like, what are we doing? It's like you're talking about like, oh, LeBron doesn't like the way the league is covered. It's like, yeah, all you guys do is shout at each other. You literally have to disagree to make it more entertaining television. And you're not talking about X's and O's. You're not doing any interesting like historical deep dives. You're just having debate shows, and you like created a like media space where you have to like slander the player to like get clicks and views. It's like, of course he's gonna have a problem. He's a player. Like, it's his right. It's also your right to respond to him, but like, no one's gonna respect Kendrick Perkins as much as LeBron.
No, whether it was Kendrick Perkins he was aiming at directly, or if it was some of the other guys on ESPN and FS1, but I think he's got a good point. I mean, I think there's levels to it. People like LeBron, Rondo, Steph, Draymond, like these guys, I think we would say have high IQ basketball minds, right? Whereas someone like Kendrick Perkins, who was just this big, dopey rebounder for the Celtics, basically, kind of carried off the coattails of the big four of the Celtics. Like, there's a difference between the Draymonds of the world and the Rondos of the world and Kendrick Perkins, who was just tall and fat, basically.
I mean, hell, Delonte West was in the league.
Yeah. And Delonte West, like, he's not a very good post-NBA career. I mean, maybe if you're counting prison sentences as championship rings, but that's about it.
Yeah, apparently you can find him in Dallas, homeless somewhere, but I don't know.
I'd rather not.
But yeah, this whole thing with like it's going back and forth, like it just doesn't like it seems like two ships kind of crossing in the night where it's like two very different audiences that aren't ever gonna cross paths.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like, why is he slandering LeBron when, I mean, he had played with LeBron, and LeBron was kind of his last stint. I think he's the reason why he had won his second, I think he won 2 rings, and one of them was with Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, I don't know why you're slandering LeBron, ultimately. Like, Kendrick Perkins could be eliminated from NBA history and nothing would happen. Just like the 70s era. The 70s era could blow up in everyone's faces and nobody would care.
And again, like my favorite modern NBA player is Steph Curry, not LeBron. And I always like Kevin Durant more than LeBron James growing up. And like I rooted for like that Dirk and Spurs team. So like the fact that we have to spend essentially an hour like half defending LeBron James is crazy for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like we're unbiased. Like this just feels like biased, old, bitter, like this doesn't seem like it's coming, like this isn't like a productive dialogue at all in sports.
Yeah, and I also just think it's bad content for the media, ultimately. Where I would put myself, if there's a scale of like LeBron stan, LeBron hater, I'm like right in the middle. I don't hate LeBron. I respect LeBron. I don't know if I'd put him as my GOAT, but I could at least hear out the arguments for him being that. So I'm like, I would say I'm a moderate LeBron fan, is what I would call myself. Where I'm not a hater, I'm not a lover, but I respect the game.
Yeah, and like I probably hate LeBron because I grew up like a Celtics fan and they were like rivals, but like so that's probably why he'll never be my GOAT. But
yeah.
And then he said, what would happen if Kyrie played in previous generations? They would have told Kyrie, you know how they used to tell Lou Anslender at the time he couldn't dunk in high school games? They would have told Kyrie, you're not allowed to dribble anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I liked that quote. Do you think that Kyrie would have been successful in other generations? I feel like he would have been.
I don't know. Kyrie just doesn't seem physical enough to be successful, and he shoots too many threes. And some say Kyrie is almost too skilled to play in another generation. I mean, how can you have the best handle of all time, be the best finisher at the rim of all time, and also a good passer, and then, just all of that talent? It just doesn't translate because, it was kind of different then.
No, he would beat every plumber that played in the 70s. Kyrie could have averaged 30. He probably could have averaged a triple-double in the 70s, to be completely honest. And I would have loved to see it. But yeah, no, like, I'm thinking about, like, the fucking plumbers of the 70s. I can't even name the players, ultimately. Like, the Dave Cowens of the world and the fucking Sean Kemps of the world. Like, give me a break. He would have torched these guys.
I can see the headline right now, too. It'd been like, flat-earthing time traveler goes back in time and steals ankles from the 70s.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, but yeah, I think, Kyrie would have been fine in the 70s. He would have crushed.
And then this is where LeBron starts to like, okay, I'm good. They're agreeing with everything I'm saying. They're hyping me up. You guys, I get accused of flopping too much. Stop it. Just because you're in the lower tiers of free throws, which was his argument, doesn't mean you don't flop. He's like, the past 6 to 7 years, I've been the bottom half of free throw attempts. Okay, that doesn't mean you don't flop and throw temper tantrums. Like, you still flop.
Yeah, it just means you don't drive in the paint as much. That's basically all that means. In my mind, like he said that, I'm like, okay, you used to be a guy that would drive the paint because you were athletic, you were a physical freak. Maybe you've lost a bit of that since then. So ultimately, he just doesn't draw as many fouls. To me, like
Also, like,
that's not that crazy.
yeah, from someone like who grew up like watching him like battle the Celtics in those playoff series with how close they were, like watching him play was the most frustrating experience because it felt like he got every single call and got away with whatever he wanted. Do you remember game 2, 2011, Oklahoma City's up 1-0? LeBron doesn't hit Kevin Durant's arm and get away with it, the Thunder potentially win that series, and we're looking at a totally different NBA. Like, you've definitely got your fair share, and maybe you're just a older player, so the NBA is like, all right, you're not getting face of the league whistles anymore, and you're not as physical. Like 6 to 7 years ago, okay, that's when you joined the Lakers. You weren't driving as much. You're taking more threes right now, especially in the regular season. Like he's not going full throttle into the paint.
I'm looking at the stats that he's talking about. Interestingly enough, as soon as he turns 36 years old, his free throw percentage, his free throw attempts go down, almost as if he just doesn't drive the paint as much, almost as if those are also the same times when he starts getting these injuries. Like he played 45 games in 2021, 56, 70, 54, 71. Like he doesn't drive the paint as much because he's in his fucking late 30s now. Like that's why I feel like he's not getting as many free throws. And I bet if we look at someone like Kevin Durant and James Harden, two other guys that I'm going to look at James Harden specifically, actually. Although James Harden's a little younger, I guarantee that he shoots less free throws than he did when he was younger, simply for the fact that he's just older now, and then he just doesn't drive the paint like he did. And I'm looking at it, yes. Ever since he turned 32, his free throws have gone from him shooting as much as back in his MVP season to now, like this year, he's got 500. So he's shooting way less free throws simply for the fact that he doesn't draw as many fouls because he's a little bit older.
No, like it totally makes sense. And like LeBron has got his fair share of like calls in the past, and you like also at some point like you just don't get as many free throw attempts, and like the whistle isn't as friendly in your career. It's like it's
Yeah,
okay to get older and take more jump shots,
yeah,
but
nothing wrong with that.
that was like kind of where the interview for me is like that was the first moment like okay, you're feeling yourself a little bit too much now. But after that, he described Miami. We talked about that. His message to Luca, he has to fit out and figure it out. Let's figure it out with you because we need you to be who you are. Yeah, he essentially said it was pretty traumatic for Luca. 7 years in Dallas, suddenly he's gone. He seems stunned by it. Like in all those videos, the press conference the next day, like bro did not look like he was in a great spot there. He's playing great recently, but
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be hard, especially like you're one of the faces of the league. You think you're going to be a Maverick for life. They basically trade you because they think you're fat and out of shape. Like and trade you for a guy who is perpetually hurt. Like that's got to
yeah,
bruise your ego quite a bit, especially when you're someone like Luca who just got off making the finals with that same team. Like that would, if I was in Luca's shoes, I would be just as offended.
yeah, absolutely.